Hi everyone, I'm Adam. We're at Wallum Lake R&G Club in Harrisville, and we're going to talk to Jim. He's a member here to tell us about the club and what they have to offer.
Hi, Adam. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Wallum Lake R&G Club is located in the northwest corner of the state in Burrillville. We have here approximately 240 acres. It is a membership-owned club, and the membership is open. There is no waiting list. All you need to do is have a current BCI and come up with the monies to join the club. All that information is available at the club's website, which is wallumlakerodgun.com.
Excellent, excellent. Now, what does this facility have?
Well, we have an outdoor rifle range that goes up to 200 yards. We have an outdoor pistol range that has a 50-yard limit. We have 9 trap fields. We have 3 skeet fields. We have 3 trout ponds. We have outdoor archery range as well as 3D archery course. We are currently remodeling our 50-foot indoor range. We have an outdoor pavilion that can be rented by anyone. We also have a hall that can be rented. And we have, of course, the steel pistol pit area, as we call it, where we host our Walls of Steel competition yearly.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds like a great club. And it's open, like you said, there's membership available. Now, you talk about the Walls of Steel competition. I heard you're also the match director for that, and we are obviously standing on a steel plate pit right now. Could you describe what the Walls of Steel is and what goes on here? I know there's also practice sessions, and if you could just describe what those are.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Walls of Steel was started, I guess you could say, in 2007. We created the idea for a falling steel plate match with the hopes of getting people that get bored with just shooting paper into something more reactive. We have 6 stages here at the club. This is one stage behind us, a typical stage. Each stage is set up differently, different shape, size, targets, different distances. The idea is with handguns to knock down all the targets as quickly and as safely as you can. Safety is very important in these matches. We have this year, 2014, will be our 8th annual Walls of Steel match. We have shooters that come from all over the country. We've had them as far as New Mexico, Oklahoma. We have lots from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and the surrounding states, Rhode Island, Mass, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont. So we have quite a good turnout. Last year, I believe we had approximately 225 shooters over a 3-day period.
So it's growing well. It's growing very well.
It is. Every year it has grown. Like I said, it was started in 2007, and this is our 8th annual. We also have incorporated in the last couple of years what we call a mini Walls of Steel match. Mini Walls of Steel is basically the same thing, 6 stages. You shoot in a squad, and everybody shoots each stage with their squad, and then you move on to the next one until you complete all of the stages. Your times are tallied, and the winners are figured out that way. Yes.
So they do it in a squad form, almost like going golfing.
Yes, but sometimes these squads can reach as many as 14 people.
Now we have a setup here for our practices on Sundays leading up to the event. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, on Sundays we have what we call friendly steel matches. They're kind of man-on-man. So there would be 2 people up at this stage, for instance. One person shooting the targets on the right, the other shooting the targets on the left. They compete against each other. Whoever knocks them all down first is the winner of that match, and they compete against 5 different people in whatever class of handgun that they want to shoot in. You can shoot stock semi-automatic. You can shoot stock revolver. And on Sundays we have what's called an open class, which is pretty much any handgun goes.
Now, when people come to compete in that, can they compete in multiple classes on the same day?
They can. They can shoot up to any 3 of those classes. Yeah, any one of them.
Excellent. So if you're a shooter and you have multiple classes and firearms you want to shoot and come to a steel plate match, you can come out on a Sunday and do all three. Make a full day of it.
The Sunday matches are not open just to our club members. They're open to the public. All we ask is that you have some basic safety knowledge. The level of shooters ranges from novice to expert. So it's fair and enjoyable and fun for everyone that attends.
Now, you did mention the different classes that are available here. Is there any other restrictions as to what types of firearms? Are we doing center fire, rim fire? Are we looking at jacketed ammo or non-jacketed? Could you explain a little more about the rules with that? If that's...
Yeah, I'd be happy to. The calibers used are from 9mm up. Usually 45 is the biggest caliber that's used. As far as the type of bullets, it doesn't matter. We use AR 400 steel, and it will not be damaged by the rounds. The only thing we try to discourage would be very high velocity ammunition, something over 1,400 feet per second.
Again, for safety.
For safety, and to be honest, we don't want to damage the equipment. Yes.
Could we actually see a demonstration of what a steel plate match would look like?
Yes, certainly. First thing we need to do is get you some eye protection and some ear protection. And yeah, I'd be happy to show you what it's all about and how it works.
All right. Hi, we're at Wallum Lake R&G Club, home of the Walls of Steel. Here with one of the competitors, Richard. I'll tell you a little bit more about the event.
Thanks, Scott. I've been shooting walls for last few years. I can tell you, Jim and his ROs, safety is number one with these guys. They really concentrate and make sure that they have a safe place to compete. I've shot with all different types of shooters, from professional shooters to people who've never shot before. There's female shooters, men shooters. Truly a great opportunity for people who really want to start getting involved in this sport. Wallum Lake is a tremendous club, and I couldn't recommend it more.
Sounds like a great competition. All right, so we're here with Jim now to demonstrate some of the firearms used in steel plate matches, and tell us what you have here, Jim.
Okay, well, today we have two different types of semi-automatic handguns. This one here is called it's made by a company called Kimber, and it is a model Super Match 2. This is a 45 caliber, and here we have a 40 caliber. It's an STI, which has been modified by a company called Brazos. As you can see, it says Brazos Custom there on the slide. These are the magazines for each of the handguns. They are specific. The difference between a 45 caliber and a 40 caliber is, believe it or not, it's not really the size of the bullet, it's the barrel. Inside each barrel is called rifling grooves. The space between the grooves is called the lands. So you have lands and grooves. That is how the actual caliber of the handgun is determined. Okay? So there are different types and features of the handguns. Safety is among the most important.
Right.
Both of these have multiple safeties. For instance, this one here, I'll put the slide forward to show you. This has what's called an ambidextrous thumb safety. You lift it up to engage it. And it also has what's called a beaver tail safety grip. If this is not depressed, the gun will not fire.
So you have to fully engage the grip with your hand.
You have to fully engage the grip with your hand, and you also have to release the ambidextrous thumb safety. If this is engaged and this is depressed, it will not fire. You can see the hammer is still back. Vice versa. If this is down and this is not engaged, it still will not fire. So
excellent.
These types of handguns have the dual safety. I'm going to lock the slide back here. And when we put it down, we put it this way so we can see inside the chamber that it's not loaded. And we can also check what's called a magazine well, where the magazine actually goes, to make sure that the gun is completely safe.
Excellent. Excellent. Safety first.
Safety is always first.
Now I also see the magazines here. We have one that looks like it's thinner than the other. You want to describe what that's for?
Yes. In the case of the 45, this is what's called a single stack magazine. These are 45 caliber bullets. You can see it's a 230 grain bullet head, which is quite large. And these are single stack, meaning they stack up in a single line. The 40 caliber has what's called a double stack. You can actually fit, I don't know if you can see it in there, but they kind of go that way down the magazine. It's more capacity.
Okay.
So I believe this magazine will hold up to 19 rounds.
So that'll hold up to 19, and this one will hold up to
10.
10.
That's a 10 round. Magazines do come in different sizes depending on the gun. It might be a 7 round, an 8 round, a 9 round, or a 10 round magazine. It also depends on what you're going to use it for.
Right.
Here at our competitions, we limit our shooters to shooting 10 rounds per magazine.
Regardless of size.
Regardless. This holds 19, but when they're competing, they can only have 10 in it at a time. Exactly right.
All right, so we've learned a lot about the firearms and the ammunition. Why don't we get into what starts a match? How
Okay.
would you start with a range officer here, and we'll go
Yes,
from there?
this is John. He's going to be our range officer for today. John takes care of the safety of the handling of the guns and also the protection of the shooters. For instance, when you're shooting anything, but especially when you're shooting steel, eye protection is extremely important, as well as ear protection, which I'm going to actually insert right now. It's very important for everybody, shooters and spectators alike, to have both. We just commonly, familiarly call them eyes and ears. Okay, so John is our range instructor. He will give the commands, and I will explain as he gives them exactly what they mean and what it entails for the shooter to do.
All right, go ahead, guys.
John?
Okay, you can handle your firearm, load, and make ready.
Okay, so what he's saying basically is pick up the gun. Now you'll notice when I pick it up, my finger is not inside of the trigger guard. That's very, very important because you don't want to have what's called an accidental discharge. So I keep it along the side of the slide, and also you'll notice the barrel is always pointed downrange. Okay? So when he says load and make ready, what he's basically saying is pick up the gun, take your magazine, put it in here. This is called a slide release. That will cause the slide to go forward and actually load the handgun. So I will drop the slide and I will engage the safety. So at this point, this gun is ready to be fired as soon as that safety is turned off. Notice it's still pointing downrange. We have not changed that. I know where my targets are. I know what is behind my targets, which is also very important too. It's all part of safety. And the next command by the range officer would be?
Is shooter ready?
And I would get my grip. Notice the safety is still on. And I would acknowledge, shooter is ready.
Shooter is ready. Stand by. Fire.
Okay, at this point, I would raise my firearm, disengage the safety, and I would start shooting my targets in whatever order I want to. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because Brian is standing right there with the camera, and like we always say, safety is first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unload this with the assistance of the range officer. Now you'll notice, even when I'm unloading, look where the barrel's pointing. Downrange, away from anything that might be hurt, just in case of an accidental discharge. I turn it over so that he can see in the chamber.
The shooter show empty.
The gun is empty. We place it down like this so we can see it's empty, and we walk away. I'm going to show you a dry fire exercise. Safety, again, finger out, okay, safety on. So when the range officer tells me, okay, fire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my handgun, disengage the safety. I'm going to line up my sights, and I'm going to slowly squeeze that trigger until the gun fires. Okay, when I'm done shooting, clear the weapon, range officer checks it, verifies safe.
Safe.
And we place it down. Okay, another dry fire exercise from this side. Finger out of the trigger guard, slide forward, safety will be on. Range officer says,
Okay, shooter is ready. Stand by. Fire.
at this point I raise it, disengage the safety, I align my sights, and I slowly squeeze the trigger. When I'm finished shooting, slide back. Range officer checks it, make sure it's clear,
Clear.
and we place it down for safety.
So now that Jim's explained everything, we're going to go to a live fire demonstration. Eyes and ears, everybody.
Clear.
All right, now Jim's going to show me how I would go through the same process here. All right.
Okay, first thing we need to do is make sure the shooter has eye and ear protection.
Eyes and ears, guys.
All right, so Adam, first your stance, your feet shoulder width apart, knees slant, very slightly bent, and you're going to lean forward just a little bit from the belt up. That's the proper stance, okay? Now, pick up the handgun, finger out of the trigger guard, very good. Always point it down range. Now show me your grip. Okay, that's a good grip. You want to switch your thumbs though. You want your, there you go. This way you have what's called a natural point of aim. Both thumbs are already aimed at the target. You'll also notice because of this grip, your wrists tend to tighten up and lock up so you don't get a lot of fluctuation when you're actually firing the gun. Okay?
All right, so we're going to try this out.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
Eyes and ears.
Eyes and ears.
There you go.
So I want to thank you, Jim, for having us out here today. Learned an awful lot about walls of steel plate matches that you guys have here, and also Wallum Lake in general.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was great to have you guys here. You're welcome to come back, as is everybody else, for our Sunday matches. You can find our schedule at wallsofsteel.com under the match schedule link. And if you're interested in finding more about Wallum Lake R&G Club in general, their website, again, is wallumlakerodgun.com. There's actually a link, of course, to that club website from the wallsofsteel.com website.
Excellent, Jim. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate coming out here.
All right, Adam.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right, we've learned a lot today. We're at Wallum Lake. We learned about steel plate matches. We learned about walls of steel. Did a little shooting along the way. They have a great place here, a great facility. A lot of options to come down and shoot. And you don't have to be a member if you want to come to the plate matches and steel shoots. Check out wallsofsteel.com, wallumlakerodgun.com for more information. And thanks for tuning in.